Okay, so with the release of Little Nightmares 3, I thought it'd be fitting that we rank every single boss from the Little Nightmares games. So from Very Little Nightmares to Little Nightmares 3, we're gonna rank all of the bosses. Not every monster, just so you know, like just the main boss type enemies. Before we get into this, just so you guys know, this is my opinion. You are going to disagree, but share in the comments how you would rank them. Who's your favorite? Who's your least favorite? Also, like and subscribe. I will do other rankings like this. I think I'm gonna rank the actual games next. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this as short and concise as possible, so let's get right into this. So, Very Little Nightmares, it was a decent game. I imagine that all y'all thought that Very Little Nightmares bosses would be the lower side of the list. Yes, that's true. So I'm gonna start with the Pretender now. I really wish I could say more about this boss, but to be honest, they don't really do much with her. She kind of just shows up at the end, and she's used for the final chase. I know she's a little bit of story behind her, but I just think they used this boss way too late, and they could have done way more with her. But yeah, let's move right on to the next one. So the Craftsman. Now, I thought his lore behind him was interesting. I thought all the dolls and making the kids into like the mannequins or whatever it is, I thought that was very interesting. But again, I just don't feel like they do enough. He has like two sections, I think, two like little tiny rooms or three tiny rooms, and then you don't even really get like a chase with him. He just kind of like takes you from the elevator in a box to the other elevator, and that's kind of like it. So I kind of thought that that was a little like, yeah, they don't really do enough with him, but I think the lore behind him is cooler. That's why I put him above the Pretender. I did not think that a Little Nightmares 3 boss would be this low, but here we are. And this is probably gonna be controversial, but the Giant Baby. Now, the Giant Baby looks cool, and I think they use the Giant Baby as more of a backdrop than anything, but it's the opening level, it's the intro of the game. It kind of destroys the environment, that's it. You don't even really get a chase from it. It just kind of ends as well. I feel like this is it was very anticlimactic. The Giant Baby has like less than like 30 minutes in the actual game. It probably has like, they don't use her enough is what I'm trying to say. It just kind of ends with the Giant Baby, like he just wakes up and then that's it. Compared to the intro for Little Nightmares 1 and 2, the intro to those games are like pretty amazing. So this one was just kind of very, very, very lackluster. That's probably the first one y'all disagree with, but oh well, it's all right. The next one, the Butler, is next from Very Little Nightmares. This is, to me, the highlight of the game. I feel like he has the best kills honestly, in the whole Little Nightmares franchise, some of the best kills. Basically, what his power is he's psychic. So he has really cool kills where he can just like smash you with anything. He'll smash you with like a washing machine at some point, or he'll smash you with like a clothes hamper or something, or he'll fling you against a wall. And I thought that was just really cool for a mobile game. I guess I wasn't expecting much, so it kind of surprised me in that way, and I think he is the highlight. And the chase with him at the end, I thought that was very cool. Honestly, Very Little Nightmares is very tedious to me, but I really enjoyed his section and his parts. I think his design is pretty cool as well. Yeah, let's move on. The Supervisor. I feel like the design, or like the spider aspect of the Supervisor was cool in Little Nightmares 3, but again, I just don't feel like they do enough. Like, the chase is very lackluster to me. The whole hiding from her is very lackluster. I don't feel like they did enough. I feel like when she was revealed to be the spider thing, I feel like that was cool. To me, even the kill at the end, when you actually kill them, I feel like that's some of the most satisfying things in Little Nightmares, is when you actually kill the boss. And even to me, that wasn't even that satisfying, like as satisfying as the other kills in the series. So I gotta put the Supervisor here. I know a lot of y'all are gonna disagree because Little Nightmares 3 just came out, and I know a lot of y'all are gonna think that those bosses are great, but I don't know, man. I just didn't feel anything like I had with these other bosses, where the tension wasn't that high, and I don't know, it just didn't do it for me with the Supervisor. But yeah, now we're gonna move on to the Guests. Now we're getting into Little Nightmares 1. The Guests, for me, now there's not a specific boss I guess here, but I guess the Guests are the boss as a whole. I thought the design was very cool. The level design, amazing. Even the story behind it, where they're all coming in on a conveyor belt and all that, and you actually run from them, and they can't like actually chase you. They have to like flip over the table. I thought that was so cool. They do some really cool stuff with the Guests overall, but again, there's not a specific Guest that you know that's the boss, but overall I think they do some cool things with them. And even the chase at the end, that's like one of the best parts of the game. So yeah, moving on. The Old Man. I feel like this is the worst Little Nightmares 3 final boss for sure. Even the boss fight itself wasn't, to me, that interesting. The only thing I feel like that is cool about this is the arms, how the arms wrap around, how the arms can get you. I feel like every boss in Little Nightmares 3 is just very disappointing compared to the other games. If you compare them to the other games, they're just very disappointing. I honestly like the mechanic that they use at the very end of the game more than the actual final boss. For a final boss, I feel like this is very disappointing. The worst one of the series, obviously if you don't count Very Little Nightmares, but I'm saying of like actual like mainline game, I feel like this is the worst one. I just don't even have nothing to really say. I hate to keep saying this, but if you just compare it to the second game's ending and the first game's ending, they just blow that shit out of the water. The granny, this might be a little biased. This might just be because I played Little Nightmares, the DLC, right after Little Nightmares 3, and I got that taste out of my mouth. But to me, the tension with this monster was high. Swimming in the water is some of the scariest stuff. That's kind of cliche that they do the whole there's something in the water thing, but I feel like it's interesting the way they do it. I feel like the granny herself is an interesting character because the lore, I guess, or the story. And I will say the kill at the end. The kill is probably one of the most satisfying things ever, where you dump the TV in the water and electrocute her. It is great. I like that part. Overall, I like the boss. It's a very good opening for, I guess, the DLC or whatever. But yeah, let's move on. Next, the Doctor. Now, the Doctor, in my opinion, is a good boss, but I feel like the mannequins themselves are more interesting than the Doctor. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for, like, if you shine a light on something and you look away, then they're gonna chase you. I felt like that was a little bit more interesting than the Doctor himself. I mean, I will say the one thing that I think is the best thing about the Doctor is his actual death. And I think it's cool that he climbs on the roof and all that shit, picks up the bed and all that shit. His design is very cool and he can be very creepy. The best thing and his saving grace, in my opinion, is his death, and the whole thing with where you put him in the furnace and then burn him alive, and then Six sits there sick and twisted, which I'll make another video about Six and how she's the most sick and twisted character. Now, the Kin, this is, in my opinion, the best Little Nightmares 3 boss. This was the one where I was like, okay, this is good. Like, I like this part. He has the best level as well, the carnival level. I don't think it's a surprise that they showed off the carnival level of all levels for the gameplay demos and shit like that, because that's the best thing that they had. But the Kin has some of the most interesting gameplay sequences as well. If you're playing co-op, you're locked in a jail. I thought that was a really cool. I wish they would have done more stuff like that, where like you just needed your co-op partner, I guess. You have to break your friend out of jail. Like I like that stuff. I think his design is the best of all of them. He's the creepiest with the puppet and everything like that. And there's basically two of them. The puppet detaches to chase you in the vent, like, and I thought his chase was pretty cool. And he starts shooting at you. I was like, bro, this is like the coolest thing about this game. To me, he was probably the most Little Nightmares-esque, I guess, boss, and that's why I probably liked him the most. And I feel like he had the coolest gameplay sequences, and yeah, so there's that. Let's move on to the Hunter. Now, I might be a little biased with this. The Hunter is basically the reason that I bought the Little Nightmares 2 game. I saw a YouTube video of the very end of that boss fight where you just shoot him with a shotgun. I was like, holy shit, this is cool as fuck. Like, I gotta get this game. So I might be a little biased, but I do think that with all the traps he sets and basically the introduction to Six basically in his cabin, and he's a part of the intro, and the intro to Little Nightmares 2, in my opinion, is so strong. It is the best intro of all of the games for sure. And plus, Little Nightmares 2 is the first Little Nightmares game I actually played, so maybe I am a little biased with that, but yeah, I like the Hunter a lot. Moving on, we're gonna go to Monster 6. Now, this is the most actual like boss fight, I would say, of any of them. This is where you actually have to like fight her, and we hate Six as well, so I don't mind putting it to her ass. There is a couple chases that I remember, so I like the chases and everything, and just the boss fight itself. I think how they use the mechanics during this boss are very interesting. How you hit the call, which the call to me, you know, was just nothing until that very moment. It's actually cool that they use it, and the story implication of like, okay, yeah, like Six is fighting herself to not try to kill Mono. This is the actual boss fight. You guys might think that this is pretty low, but also the twist too that comes right after this, bro. Like they just keep hitting you with good shit. But yes, here we go. We're gonna get to the top 5. This is where you guys are going to disagree. This next one is probably super low for y'all because I've seen people say this is the best boss of all the games, which I like the boss for sure. I have to go with The teacher, hear me out. I think the teacher has very disturbing, interesting design. The way she does the little badass kids, she gets them in line is and she's very creepy as well. Playing the piano, the whole chase as well with the neck or whatever, her neck, amazing. Like, this is one of the best parts of the game for sure. She's one of the best monsters in Little Nightmares. You're up in the rafters and she still is able to look at you up there and take your ass out. Like, that's so creepy. But I like the other 4 more. Now, the janitor. This might be a little unfair because the janitor technically gets like 2 games, the first game and the DLC. But I do think the reason that I put him over the teacher is him being blind and you can only step on the very soft spots. I really feel like they use that very, very, very well. And it creates for some crazy tense moments and some of the best parts of Little Nightmares, the franchise. So that's why I put him in the top 4, number 4. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the top 3. Now, this is probably controversial, but the twin chefs, in my opinion, are number 3. So the biggest thing for me with the twin chef that I like the most is definitely the twist, where you think that there's one and then you go into a room and you find out that there's actually 2 chefs. Their design as well is very creepy. That's probably, to me, I think their design is maybe like the creepiest because they have like masks. It's very interesting, and the small stuff too, where they like share like everything, and it's just very, very creepy, I feel like. And you see them cutting up meat. Even the chase I like a lot, when you jump on the hook and they try to grab your ass. And one of the most tense moments, the most memorable moments of the game for me is when the twin chef appears at the elevator after he comes up, and I feel like that moment's just great. Like, I don't know, I just really like them. I don't know why. I think it's just their design. But yeah, let's move on to the top 2. Top 2 are probably super obvious, but I'm gonna put the lady. She gets 2 games too, basically. She gets the DLC and the first game. She definitely has a lot of interesting aspects. I feel like the whole thing with her face, and she's hiding her face, that you find out in the DLC is amazing. All the broken mirrors and shit around her place is very, very interesting as well. She just basically can hide anywhere, and she's a part of anything. She's just in the darkness waiting and hiding. I feel like that's probably one of the most interesting aspects. And even the boss fight at the very end of the first game, where you have to hold a mirror, I thought that was really well done. I guess she's more of an actual boss as well. And then the way that 6 just like eats her ass, like not pause, but like eats her at the very end of the first game. Like, yeah, I know she's the final boss and she's amazing. But yeah, now let's move on to the very best boss in my opinion, Little Nightmares. It's the Thin Man. Now this obviously is sold by the twist. The twist makes this the best boss. I don't care. Mono's my favorite character. So finding out that he is the Thin Man at the very, very end of the second game was just like, that was insane. Still blows my mind to this day. I still hate 6, and his chases I feel like were good, you know. And the train sequence was amazing, and even the part with Mono and how he like fights himself and stops himself and basically takes him out. I don't know, I mean, this one might be a little biased because it's sold by the twist for me. Like, I just like the twist, and I like the I guess the lore of the Twin Man, basically how it was Mono trapped in there and he was basically waiting for his younger self to free him, and then basically trying to stop 6. How he uses the TVs and shit I think is so cool. It creates for some of the coolest level design in the game with the TVs, and how he's basically just trying to save himself. Like, that's the coolest part. And how you take him down I think is very cool as well. It's like one of the most spectacle moments of any of the games. But yeah, so this is my list. I know you all are gonna disagree. I know it. Just let me know what y'all think though. Let me know which one's your favorite, which one's your least favorite. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Like and subscribe if you watch this far too.